Chapter 6. As they traveled once again in their line, their steps became more purposeful, each bringing them closer to an unknown. And while the unknown did not frighten them, it was still an unknown and gave them pause. Moody listened intently to the conversations that flowed around her as they walked. She heard Red Roan teasing Pamela about a new beau in her life, and Pamela taunting her right back. She heard Blue Jinx bemoaning a recent battle scar, while Crackadoom suggested an herb she had found that seemed to take away those scars they all hated to find after a battle. Moody made mental notes and filed them away for future use. When they next rested and the time was right, she would let Pamela know that her new friend was welcome at the next festive occasion the Lords hosted, and would make sure that Red Roan bought them both a drink. She would check on Blue Jink's wound, and if necessary, have one of the healers work their magic on it. And she would also ask Crackadoom to share her new knowledge of this herb with the healers who kept the clan on its feet. Moody Angel took her position as a clan leader very seriously, and used her skills as an educator in a most effective manner. She knew each member of the clan almost intimately, taking every opportunity to inquire as to their health and to their families. She took the time to share with them their troubles and their celebrations. She offered solace when it was needed, and also gave advice to those who asked her for it. Outwardly, and to most who did not know her well, she was a shy woman, introverted, and even more so in large groups. But the clan brought out the best in her, and allowed her to blossom into one of the most amazing women the clan had ever seen. She educated the group at every opportunity, but those who attended her lectures and lessons were always in awe at her teaching style. Not only could she inspire you to learn, but also make you look forward to practicing whatever lesson she had given you. Every lady in the clan loved and admired her greatly, and they protected her with a fierceness that still amazed even her. And while Moody was a small woman, about a hand shorter than Scrubs and several hands below Lady and Femme, she had a presence that could fill a room. Her long brown hair was always pulled back sensibly, and her eyes were a warm golden brown that flashed when she was passionate about something, be it a lesson she was teaching or a dressing down she was handing out. She wasn't a conventional beauty, but if you asked anyone who knew her, they would tell you she was stunning. The love and warmth that radiated from her made you want to spend time with her and just be near. And her wardrobe was so varied that it was something of a game to see what beautiful and exciting items she would wear next, and in that area as well as others, she never let the clan down. Moody had been with the clan from the day it started. She had always been a leader right beside Lady, and was forever strong in her faith that the group would succeed from its inception. She had worked as hard as anyone to make sure the group achieved whatever task they undertook, and she felt their failures as hard as Lady did, sometimes even harder. She was sensitive where Lady was harsh. She was calm where Lady was stern, and when Lady needed an anchor, she turned to Moody. Moody took things to her heart, keeping them there for a long while, and feeling pain and sorrow greater than most ever would. But out of the 4 leaders, she was the calm one, and they often teased her for that in private. What would it take to ruffle Moody? They asked, smiling at her. Not even the king black dragon and cowfight queen at her door, was often their reply as they dissolved into a fit of giggles which Moody joined. And not only were the clan members protective of Moody, but the other leaders were as well. And while they knew she would step into any battle flung before her and fight tooth and nail to the death if necessary, in a way, she was still their little one, the one they always wanted to protect and keep safe from not only harm, but from harmful words and hurtful things. They did not doubt her strength, only wanted to shield her from pain. As Moody followed Lady, she reflected on the friendship they shared. They found each other when Moody was new to this land and needed a bit of direction. Lady had given that direction and also given her hand in friendship. From that day on, they had become sisters in almost every sense of the word, and now that bond was unbreakable, each knowing that truth and keeping it locked in their hearts. And even though Moody had surpassed Lady in many skills, she would never remind Lady of that fact. They could go days or weeks without speaking or seeing each other, but the first minute back together had them connected again as not even a moment had passed. Theirs was a true and loyal friendship that many had admired, and some even coveted. As new members and even new leaders came into the Lords, Moody was always the most welcoming, taking the time to get to know each sister and guiding the leaders as they found their niche in the clan hierarchy. Showing them the ropes always seemed to give her a sense of pride and ownership in the clan she loved so well. She watched as Lady led the group out of the east gate of Ardone and started north towards the Keep of Lefay. With the vast ocean on their right and the forest growing denser on their left, the scenery changed a bit. The salt from the sea drying the air and the winds kicking up as the group moved north towards Catherby. They stopped to allow the master woodcutters only a few minutes to replenish their stock from the grove of yew trees they passed. Ishi and Charmed were calling out instructions. Moody took the break time as an opportunity to speak quietly with Lady as they lounged under a willow tree away from the sound of axes and flying wood chips. They shared a drink of water from a water skin one of the sisters passed to them. After confirming with each other their current plan and course of action, a comfortable silence settled over them as they watched the ladies working and resting around them. "Are you okay, my friend?" Moody asked. Lady smiled at her and bumped her shoulder to Moody's. "I'm fine. Just many things on my mind, including this stop we must make in Catherby and what lies ahead when we leave there." "And Scrubs?" Moody asked quietly. "And Scrubs," Lady agreed. "Yes, I admit that is also weighing on my mind, but I have accepted it. As I knew you would, but if you need to discuss it..." "Thank you, my friend. But we really have other things to talk about." "Agreed. I know our journey over White Wolf Mountain must be a concern to you as it is to me." "Yes, that and what will await us in Taverley. I am praying to the gods that Finn will already be there with the information we need, and that Scrubs will be there as well," Lady said, grinning at Moody, who returned her smile. "The pass from Catherby over the mountain range is the only way for us to reach Taverley with a group of this size. We cannot teleport such a large group safely, or we will drain our energy and our magic will be useless should we encounter a battle on the other side." "I know, and that energy will be needed," Lady said, thinking ahead. "There are many places for our enemies to be hiding in those mountains," Moody said as she looked to the east, where you could just see the white, icy peaks they were discussing. Lady started planning. "We will start at the pass with our rangers and mages at the back of our line, and the melee warriors to the front. This will give us protection we will need should we be ambushed. You should be with the back of the group to be safe." Moody shook her head at this suggestion. "No, my friend. I will lead with you, as should be." But for your protection, Lady started. You cannot always protect me and should not try. I am a strong warrior, and my place is with you as leader of this clan. Lady again pressed her shoulder to her sister's. I know your place as well as you. I only hope to shield you from sights that would weigh in your head and your heart for many days after. Moody pushed back. And I love your concern, but I fight with you should the need arise. I have no doubts of your bravery. I only wish to. I know what you wish, and I thank you for that. But we will fight this battle together every step of the way. Lady nodded, and they sat silent for a moment. I believe we should put Night Sage in command of the rear group. She's proven herself in the past, and she works well with the ladies, Moody suggested. Agreed. Would you mind bringing her over so we can discuss the plan? Lady asked. Of course. And Moody headed to where Night Sage was sitting with Winddance and several other sisters who were quickly fletching the ewes into extra bows in case the battle called for them. Lady watched as Moody knelt down, admiring their work and speaking with each in the group before talking to Night Sage. They both stood and walked back to where Lady was sitting under the swaying branches of the old willow. Hello, Night, said Lady. I'm glad to see you found yourself a quiet spot, Lady, said Night jovially. Well, how about share my spot for a moment and let's talk, please, Lady said, patting the ground next to her, and Moody and Night Sage both seated themselves beneath the tree. What can I do for you, my lady? Said Night, now becoming serious. She knew, as did the others, that being summoned to Lady and another leader usually meant something meaningful. We plan to continue on to Catherby after our stop here and take the time to stock our food supply there. Although we can't stay for long, we need the fish for the journey and the battle ahead. But after we have what we will need, we will be heading over the White Wolf Mountain and have some concerns about the clan's safety during that part of the journey. This is where we need your help, my sister. Anything you ask, Night replied, always willing to help the sisters. Night Sage was one of those amazing women who kept a smile in her voice even when she was displeased. She was another of the clan's teachers, using the knowledge she had gathered over her time in this land to help the others learn and grow. She was tall and slender, with skin the color of chocolate and eyes that flashed in the sunlight. Her long dark hair hung in tight curls when it wasn't tucked in the armored helmet she favored. Hands that were rarely still, always at the ready to fletch, fish, or farm, and arms that were always ready to hug a sister in need. You could often hear her singing as she worked, songs that made you smile and your heart glad. She spent most of her time with another of the sisters, Winddance. They had become fast friends and would often work together on tasks required by the clan. But yet, they always found the time to welcome new sisters to the group and show them around. Lady continued. In order to better protect ourselves, we will want to move the melee fighters to the front of the clan, led by Moody and myself, and we would like you to lead the mages and rangers to the rear of the group. If we need protection, you will position the rangers at obstacles and the mages behind them. Winddance can assist you with the mages and Jenny Boo with the rangers. Are you willing to accept this task? Night sat up a bit taller. Of course, and I will do my best. We have every faith in you, Night, said Lady. Moody will let the ladies know to follow your lead if the need arises. I can only hope it won't, but if it does, we are confident in your abilities. We will keep you safe, both of you, and all the ladies, Night said. We know you will, said Moody, as she rose and Night Sage stood with her. I will start letting everyone know of the plan now. Lady stood as well, taking Night into a hug and happy to have one returned. Thank you so much, my sister, and they grinned at one another. Moody took Night's arm and walked with her back to the group, and Lady could hear Night humming as they left. She watched as Moody talked for a moment with the gathering there, and then moved on to others around the area. This was her dear friend in action, doing what she loved. Smiles would erupt as she walked up to each group, and hugs would be wanted before she left. And while she stood talking to them, you could see that she made a point to make sure she explained herself well, answering questions and soothing concerns, all the while knowing that she had to move quickly. You could see how much the ladies cared for her, as they did all the leaders. The women were devoted to both the clan and the ladies who led them. But each leader had a different way of doing things. Lady was the one they looked to for information or in times of trouble. Femme, the one they sought out for training or to lead the skirmishes into the wild. Scrubs, in her position over the new members, mothered them till the time came to push them out of the nest and on their own, yet stayed a confidant to many. But when it came to Moody, the ladies knew that, leader or not, she was one of them, and she had a special place in all of their hearts. As Lady started to gather her pack and weapon, the ladies around her knew it was time to move on. They only had a short distance to cover before they made it into Catherby. Moody, also watching Lady, urged the women to pack up whatever was left and came to stand behind Lady, ready to go. Lady turned to glance over her shoulder and saw that Moody wore a concerned look upon her face. Lady turned to her. "What is it?" Moody shook her head. "I don't really know. Maybe nothing, but I sense something is wrong." Spending too much time with Jerrietta, maybe?" Lady asked her, grinning. Moody returned the grin, lighting up her face and erasing the lines of worry. "Could be, but maybe something I can't quite put my finger on." "Do you think we should wait here or inquire of the ladies?" "No. Let us proceed. The feeling will pass, or I will figure out what's bothering me," Moody said confidently. Lady looked at her once more before calling out, "Parade, lords!" And, as every time before, the ladies fell into a perfect rhythm, and they marched out for Catherby. As they walked, Lady reflected once more on her relationship with Moody, and how she treasured her friend. Knowing that she could talk about anything with each of the leaders was a comfort, but with Moody, it was so much more. They knew each other's thoughts, sometimes without saying a word. They may not agree on every subject, but were open enough to debate any topic and still come away friends. If something was worrying Moody, then it was a concern for them all. She may not be a seer like Jerrietta, but her instincts were fine-tuned and always led them in the right direction. Lady wondered what would await them in Catherby. Be it friend or foe, they had to stay alert and keep the sisters safe, all the while working their way towards where the Duke was waiting for them. And what would that battle bring? When Lady thought of the Duke, she was quick to anger. Most of the sisters knew that she had been wed to him at one time, and that had been a dark time indeed. The Duke of Chaos lived up to his name in many ways. He was a controlling tyrant with an affinity for lies and deceit, using those lies and a charm that fooled many. He had worked his way into Lady's life at a time when she was vulnerable. And while Lady did not use that as an excuse, she accepted the reality of it. The fact that she had become entangled in the web of tales he told often angered her. As she had become aware of his evil nature, she had struggled to be free of him and the darkness that surrounded him. Once she gained that freedom, she had never looked back, growing stronger away from him every day, and this angered him even more and made him her worst enemy. He worked against her and the clan at every opportunity, often sending spies to gather information he used to hurt them. It had been a while since Lady had heard anything about him or his activities before this, and while the peace was welcome, it had also made her wonder what he was plotting. Now she knew. He had only been sitting back gathering his strength and his forces, and while he could not, would not, come and attack her directly, he knew that by attacking innocence, he would eventually find himself in a battle against her. The time had come. She was stronger and safe in the knowledge that with this band of women who now walked behind her, she could win any battle. Even face to face with Duke, she would have no fear. She would draw strength and energy from these women, her friends, and would be victorious over an evil that had wrought too much havoc in a land she loved. For a woman who cared for and nurtured many, it was an unthinkable thought. Yet, now she did allow herself to think it. She knew she could actually kill him by her own hand and leave his bones lie where they may be picked over by trolls and demons. When that time came, she would smile and know in her heart that she had rid Runescape of a nefarious evil, and that day could not come soon enough.